Hey, Sarge, how you doing?
Good,
Hey, Bob.
Dr. Bob.
We all.
Greetings, Mr. Wizard of the Wood. And you too, Robo.
Yeah,
Sorry?
that was.
I said, greetings, Mr. Wizard of today of the Wood. And I said also, hello to you.
Oh, good day, Bob. I said a good day earlier.
Um, he is the Wizard of the Wood. What are you on about? He's Duckman today.
You just need to pay the $20 and then you can have more people and get rid of him. I mean, the duck I'm talking about, not Robo.
Oh,
Either that or we'll call the duck a it.
yeah. Um, yeah. A couple of days, about 4 days.
Now, while I think of it, Joe, your membership's fixed up with Detroit.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Robbo.
Congratulations. We've got two members at a distance. Now we just need Sarge.
Yeah.
Need to get a lathe in your hand.
I know.
You almost look as if you could feed them, Robo.
Sorry?
You almost look on screen. You could stick food straight down and put it in Sarge's mouth.
Yeah, yeah. Well, he had a forkful there a minute ago.
There you go.
What is it, mashed potato?
Ice cream.
Ah,
It's snowing outside and I'm eating ice cream.
yeah.
Do you keep it outside?
I wish. Nah, we don't get enough snow here for that.
Well, actually, it's rather interesting. The biggest sales of refrigerators for a while were to Eskimos
Mm.
to stop their food from freezing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yes, Bob, I knew all about the Emu Wars.
I thought that was hilarious. And the fact that your military lost to some birds
Yeah, yeah.
and bird brain commanders.
Only in Australia, man.
We used to joke about Poland for doing weird stuff.
Yeah, well, the Poles have always copped it, or the Irish have always copped it, one or the other.
But shooting birds and then missing them? Or what, it took 6 shells from a rifle to kill one? I take it they're not good eating. They'd be in the grocery store.
No. I think just recently they've been having emu steaks or something in the stores. Jay, does that crack at the top there, the one that looks like semicircular, does that go, how deep is that?
There is no crack.
What's the line around where your finger, around there, yeah?
Someone's lovely cutting line from when they cut the tree.
Oh, okay, all right then, no worries. Ah, good day, Dark, you sexy devil, you.
It's only that end that's got the cracks, Robbo.
You got
Yeah,
two big
right
ones.
out.
Dark, just let us know if you want to come in because I'm about to start turning.
And to Chris as well.
How you going, Chris?
Bill. Howdy,
Oh.
Chris. Howdy, Dark.
I go on full screen for 5 seconds and no one tells me people are in. That's not very good. I'm paying you too much, apparently.
Yeah, I want an increase in my wages.
Yeah, your old gold.
And time and a half for weekends.
Yeah, but it's Monday, ain't it? So you're off your weekend.
Yeah.
That was
Valentine's Day is well and truly over for us. Thank God.
time and a half.
What is the hourly minimum?
What, in Australia?
Yes.
I think the minimum wage is about $180 or $200 a week, isn't it, Jay?
You don't get paid by the hour?
No, ours are on a weekly. Most of our things are on a weekly thing, but
How many hour a day?
sorry,
How many hour a day then?
8.
Oh, for an 8-hour day. Okay. So it's basically 40 hours and you get $100.
No, I think it's more than that. Wait on, I'll look it up. Yeah, I enjoyed your Premiere Dark, but you should have cut that bloody leaf off. Separated it.
He didn't separate enough for you, did he, Robo?
Nah.
Yeah, Chris, I'm sorry I missed your live too. I seen Darks. His premiere.
Here we go. Bob, $19.84 per hour. As of July the 1st, 2020, the national minimum wage is $753.80 per week. Employees covered by an award or registered agreement are entitled to the minimum pay rates, including penalty rates.
Dark said he didn't want it to be too weak. It didn't show very good, but the part that holds it looks like a thorn. Chris said, I don't plan ahead. Just start when no one's on. Dark says, thanks for stopping in, guys. I know carving videos are hard to watch.
And Chris, I watched yours, watched your live as well. I didn't watch it live, I watched it later, but yeah. Nice to know that Blair's been watching, although he's gentler than I am. If I'd been there, I'd have been, Chris!
Yeah. I enjoyed it.
Chris, are you on Facebook?
Showing here he's on YouTube. Oh, I know what you're asking. Never mind. Never mind. So the family liked their Valentine's stuff today.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, they look nice in the pictures.
Yeah. Doc says, Jay, cut that part off. You know the part that don't belong.
I don't. Now, is that which group's that? Sorry. Yeah, I'm in Wood Turning International, but no, I'm just a member there. I'm not one of the
Administrators.
At least I don't think I'm one of the moderators on that.
You mean you haven't been asked or caught?
No, well, Darren's a fairly good friend of mine, so, but, what name are you under in Facebook, please, Chris?
He said he just sent you a request. Unless you got a lot of junk requests there, Robo.
Yeah, I seem to get messages all the time, but
Dark. I'll shed a tear for you next time I'm in the shower and the water is running.
Yeah.
right, I'll have a look, Chris. Yeah, well, that's right, Dark. It'd have to be a pretty funny sort of a forum to or a group to let you in, I must admit.
They let me in. So yeah, it's a funny group. Good funny group.
You may have to go pull Robert up to the front.
Do what?
You may have to go pull Robert out front. Yeah, he's gonna go to work.
We got a little dusting of snow, but it's still coming down. Problem is, we got a crappy dirt road up, and it's uphill. So
Dusting of snow. And it's dusting of snow out there. Gotta go look again.
okay, maybe an inch.
I'm going to ask you a favour, please, Chris, if you wouldn't mind. Can you send me a private message, please? Robbo Robertson. There's about 40 Chris Baileys on Facebook. What are you going to make out of it, Joe?
Not really that many options, really, is there? bowl.
Bowl, 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 bowl,
Or what? Huh?
Yeah, I don't know.
You don't know.
Chris says, Dark, so you mean a physical group or a Facebook group? I have never been tool shamed. This community is awesome. I'm not part of a physical group though.
What the hell, Tom? A bird. Sound like
G'day, Robert. How are you?
nobody's heard it.
Hello, Robert.
Greetings.
How you going, Robert?
Hello, Amy.
G'day, Amy.
She says, okay, everyone, can relax now. I'm here. Dark says, laugh out loud. I just joking. I'm not part of any group but YouTube community I play in, and I hate Facebook. Phew, thank goodness, Amy, says Robert.
No, it's all over bar the shouting for us, Dark. And all of Victoria was in lockdown for it, which I'm sure that made restaurants and florists very unhappy.
Oh, yeah.
How you going, Amy?
That means the wives and girlfriends had to cook.
Yeah.
I'm kind of lucky during the daytime when school's here, and I have two teenagers to cook for. They're just hungry.
Always.
They like grazing, and their favorite place to graze is that vertical box that has all the food in it.
Yeah. And stand there 5 minutes looking through to find out what they want.
Yeah. Well, I've got them in the habit where if they want to taste something, they take a handful of spoons and then they taste it and put that spoon in the sink. They don't cross it, but that's something that took a while to teach them. But I'm dirtying so many spoons, then you'll make me wash them. I said, the dishwasher washes them.
Yeah. Right. Doc says, hey, the prize comes 9 months later, Robo. Happy Valentine's Day.
There'd be a hell of a to do in our house if that happened, I tell you.
Yeah. And Amy says, hell no, Sarge, I got McDonald's for us all. Doc says, who is the girl who is always yelling at you? Be quiet, Dr. Bob. Laugh out loud.
Yeah. Someone we would try to ignore at times.
Doc says, that's what we had for dinner too, Amy. We had pork steak and gravy and rice and pasta salad and cream corn. Robert had romantic Popeye's chicken dinner.
I didn't know was such a thing. No, we lucked out. The woman of the house, she made 2 different types of taco salad today, big tubs of it. With teens, you need it. You know, the type of grazing bowls a teenager likes.
Yeah.
And then a dessert just about as big.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they'd probably take my gallon of ice cream out of the freezer and just start grazing on it.
Well, there's no school here Monday and Tuesday. And they're going to be, around the house. So food goes quick.
Yeah.
Well, I had homemade rissoles in onion gravy with mashed potatoes and peas and sweet potato.
Well, you didn't have wallaby stew?
Sorry?
I said you didn't have wallaby stew?
No, no.
Or is that a northern thing?
Oh, no.
Doc says, sounds better than what I
That's
had.
quite
Sorry.
a track to contend with there, Jay. It's like it goes all the way through.
Amy says,
Yeah,
I was on.
I'm well aware of that, Dr. Bob. I said at the start before you came in that I put super glue in here this morning, or early this morning, and I wedged it down with wood chips, like in there and up in there. So, and I haven't got.
Okay, I was just worried for you.
No, that's fine. It doesn't seem to be getting any bigger. I'm just keeping an eye on it.
Hello, Blair. He's backstage. Toxic Toad.
Hello, guys.
How you going, Blair? Howdy.
Howdy, Blair.
Right, Blair.
Howdy. I turned on the camera, but I'm eating, so I don't think you guys want to see me eat.
Depends what you're eating.
I don't know.
You
that's
guys
all
know
we've been
what
talking
Panda Express is?
What?
Yes.
Have you ever heard of Panda Express?
No.
Chinese fast food, buffet style.
Well, Panda Express can also be a takeout style too, but yeah, it's Chinese fast food.
Yeah.
Chris said he made T-bones and shrimp for Valentine's Day for wife and daughter. Making brownies and cheesecake now. Amy says, "Yummo, Robo." Nice work, Chris. Amy says, "Howdy, Blair." Yeah, I do.
Hi, Amy. Hi, Hodge. Hey, Darky, you sexy mother, you. Who else we got in here? Looks like Chris is in. Hey, Chris. I don't know if you guys caught Chris's live today, but that bowl that he did out of Paducah was so pretty.
Yep, certainly was.
Fantastic, yes.
And you must have listened to me a few times, have you, Blair?
You think?
Hi, Mark. Glad you stayed up late to say hi.
Howdy, Mark.
Good morning, Mark. How are you?
Well, howdy, Mark. What's Mark going to do for his live tomorrow?
How you going, Mark?
Keeping with a tradition, Mark, how about turning a chanter for your bagpipes?
Geez, Mark, I'm ashamed of you now. He says the gorgeous Amy, and I thought he was going to call all of us like that. I'm offended now.
But she already said, "Hey, Mark, my main man."
Yeah, I know. I think there's something going on between those two.
I wonder if she likes a man in kilts.
Mark says he's going to get roasted. He's colouring spalted beach.
What?
Oh, yes. So many purists out there.
You going to put a captive ring and finish it in CA, you, Mark, as well?
And put resin on the inside.
And just before the dark gets in there, and turn it with carbide tools.
And make it into a pen for Robo.
You know, Sarge,
Yes, sir.
I can alter the name on the front of that, you know.
In front of what?
Trying to get it around the duck.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I see it now. Oh, he's doing a game of spot the difference for the workshop.
Somebody must have been cleaning today.
Yeah. Either that or you got a new toy.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
don't know.
Yeah, good night, Dark.
See you, Darky.
Good night, Dark.
have a good evening. young man.
See you later, Darky.
Oh yeah, Blair. Happy anniversary, bud.
Hey, thank you, buddy.
I know I mentioned it on Facebook, but I figured I'd get you worldwide attention now.
Yeah, my wife and I have been married for 10 years.
That's cool.
Yeah, happy anniversary. Does that mean you get gold or something?
No,
Or is that silver?
I
I
think
don't even
silver's
think
like
it's that.
50.
I think it's glass.
No.
I think when you hit like 50 or something like that, you hit gold.
Yeah, wife and I have been married for 38 years.
Somebody didn't like that answer.
Yeah, that's my dog.
That's exactly what I said, Sarge.
Perfect timing, right on cue.
Thank you, Amy.
I'm not, go away.
If it's not one, it's all.
Ain't got nothing for you, damn hound dog. Tell you a damn hound dog. Yeah, I can tell you a hound dog. Skip everything. You come out of the room. Come right over here to my food. Ain't none of one of them other dogs move. Huh? Hound dog. What do you say? I heard the hound dog part. He come out of that room sniffing. He had to smell my food. Walked over here. He fell Sadie the food and tell you the hound dog. Okay, that's kind of funny though. Hound dog. You go, hound dog.
Sarge, I saw your finished projects on Facebook. Those came out great.
Thank you.
I can't believe you did like the little lines in the lips. That's just crazy.
You little brat.
Yeah, that was interesting. Because the first one I did in class, I did with the spiral blade, and it worked out pretty good. And then when I broke a blade, one of the other students in there, she only had flat blades, and so I was like, well, I'll switch over to flat blades. That way, there it's easier for me to show her some of the techniques and getting in the corners and doing the lines and whatnot. So I finished mine off with a flat blade. And then when I did my second one, I went ahead and used just flat blades. Yeah, Amy, we got a dog that's part boxer, and we don't know what the other is, but he definitely looks and acts like a hound dog.
Can you make him howl?
Oh, he howls something fierce.
So if I was to start howling, would he?
If I took my headset off, put you on off. Blair's trying to get him to howl.
Does he like cats? Meow.
Yeah, he likes cats now. After getting his butt whooped a few times.
Yeah, he likes cats for dinner.
Yeah. Now he lives with cats and two other dogs. Or I should say a dog and a German horse. Oh, here he comes. Y'all meet Duke.
Nope.
The boxing hound.
No.
Oh.
Better turn your head. He don't want to look. Look, look, Daddy. Look, Daddy. Look, Daddy. Look. All right.
You don't want nothing to do with you.
Go get your ass, Brooklyn.
Yeah, cats and dogs and all sorts of crazy animals.
Good day, John.
Hey,
John
John.
Ends.
Howdy, John.
How you going, John?
I had to look at the chat for a second with Amy's comment about hi, Duke. I forgot my dog's name.
Hey, there's that.
Question there for you, Mark.
Mark says that he did a live last Monday and again tomorrow night at 8 p.m.
Mark normally does one every Monday night.
Yeah, which I think was GMT time.
Yeah.
Greenwich Mean.
That's it. You're all fired. You're not talking enough.
Well, John said he'll be at Mark's live tomorrow, and then he says, looking good, Jay.
No, I just mean to each other, you
I
know.
know.
Do you? Do you really?
I know what you meant.
Yeah.
Amy says I have places set up on my world clock so I can check the times.
Yeah, all that'll change in about 3 weeks' time, Amy.
Yeah. And then Chris asked Mark if it was GMT.
Yeah, that's about 2 o'clock our time in the afternoon. I have him on my calendar to remind me at 1:30.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 7 o'clock in the morning for us, which is a sensible time.
Well, I might actually be able to watch it tomorrow. My boss done told me we ain't working tomorrow because of the snow. But that means we got to work Friday.
Well,
Amy
we
said-
warmed up to 18 right now outside.
Amy says the phone does it for me, Robo, thankfully.
Yeah. I'm not that technologically advanced. I'll have to look it up on the computer.
I was going to say it's 1317 in Adelaide and 1347 in Sydney.
It certainly is.
You're outside playing.
Well, Minnie's in it.
Yeah.
Hello, Marley.
G'day, Marley.
Gone nocturnal again.
How you going, Marley?
Yeah, London is 0 on Greenwich Mean Time.
Yep. Where it all starts and ends.
Yep.
Remember when I was in the military and was over in London for 8 weeks, we went just to be able to step a day ahead and a day back for the fun of it. Yeah,
Right.
when you're young, you do those stupid trips.
Hey, Blair, John missed you.
What, did he shoot at me?
I don't know.
No,
He asked if Blair's gone.
no, he's busy eating, John.
I was eating and I didn't want to like totally, make a pig of myself. So,
Amy's asking Marley if he's taking after Uncle Mark. Not sleeping, up all hours of the day.
That's a teenager. Their clocks get so screwed up for about 4 years.
You're welcome, John.
And this COVID bit is making teenagers even weirder for their hours of gaming. I know around here I've seen them set timers to wake up at 3 in the morning so they can play a certain game with somebody somewhere, a team, and then that team is moving on and they're taking over something else a week later, so it's a different time to get up. And they keep winning in competitions, so my foot goes down. If it's school time, you lose because you're not going to play.
You meanie.
Yep, education first.
Dead right.
Yep. Mark says that Marley isn't even a teen yet.
No,
Oh, mentally they think they are.
Yeah, I got
It's
a
a
17 going on 27.
They want to grow up, and people do just want to get 18, 19. You got to get there so you can drink. You got to get there so you can drive. You got to get there so you can do something else, and then you end up 40 and you wonder where it all went. And at 50, you're sitting back and trying to remember why you even did some of the stupid stuff you did. That's human nature. When you're my age, you just have memories, and they come back at different groups all tied together as chains.
now that's a pretty broad statement there, Marley.
Yeah, kids definitely try to grow up too fast.
It's rather interesting. We've got a bus stop just outside our door here, and you watch the schoolgirls get off at 3:45 when things are normal, and they're dressed in their school uniforms and everything. And 20 minutes, half an hour later, you'd swear there was 22 or 23-year-olds walking up the street and they're the same kids. Anyway, one of their mothers one day was getting some stuff. She'd knocked off work early and she was getting some stuff for one of the clubs she was involved with. And she saw her daughter, she was standing here talking to me, and she saw her daughter get out of the bus and everything. And she said, oh yeah, so-and-so's home. I said, yep. I said, do you want to see something interesting? She said, what? I said, stay here for 25 minutes and you'll see. She was absolutely horrified. Her daughter was grounded for about 6 weeks, I think. So she couldn't believe how they dressed, because she must have gone home before Mum got home normally and changed back into her normal sort of clothes at home. So 4 of the 5 girls in the street were all grounded for about 6 weeks.
Wow.
And had to report when they got home.
Hey, Rob, is that a new pair of specs you got? I don't think I've ever seen you wear those.
What's that?
Your glasses?
No, I haven't. I have them on occasionally. I've been doing bookwork, so sometimes the numbers and everything are all right, but other times they just go blurry across the page. So yeah, I've had to put them on.
They look good on you.
Blair, maybe you need glasses. He's had them on the last live or two. Oh wait, you were sleeping the last live. I forgot.
And I can't see the pencil lines on the timber anymore, so I've got to put glasses on for measurements and things as well.
Yep, I'm getting there. I feel your pain.
I've been there, and bifocals don't work. They give me a special pair just for woodworking.
I was going to say they make reading glasses. I know for sure in the safety glasses, but I think they make prescription in the safety glasses too, because my foreman has to wear them whenever we're working.
Yeah, these have got safety lenses in them.
Yeah, I keep.
You got to wear the.
Yeah. The problem is they put them in the same black frame, safety glasses. Mm-hmm. It's a sturdier frame too, but they look about the same. And if I take my glasses off, I can't tell the difference between them. I got to have them on to see the difference. Without glasses, I kind of fumble around.
Oh, I don't need glasses to fumble around. I just fumble around.
Oh, I need the excuse to cover it up.
Here comes another one.
Ah.
And she's all wet.
Yeah.
Marley's turning his shit into a workshop.
I didn't know Marley had a shed.
I guess so.
He's probably commandeered it from his mother.
Right.
Unless it's not Marley talking.
That'd be a good title for a YouTube channel, Marley's Shed.
Yep. If I ever get my dust collection up and right, I think I'm going to rename my shop the Marine Cave instead of the Man Cave.
You're putting the dust collector outside?
No, I wish. I mean, I guess I could. but I'd have to go through one of the only windows I have left available.
Yeah, Marley's just said he did actually, Robbo, purloined it from his mother. Well,
Very
that,
nice,
yeah,
Amber.
that's good, Amber.
Wow,
Wow.
that is fantastic. It's been a while. Put her up on the screen.
Oh. She just
She
waved.
does such great work. You ought to do a joint piece. Do something like you're doing now and hollow it out as a big vase or a big pot, and then have her do the artwork on the outside if it's nice and a nice finished piece of wood. Just don't wax it.
That would be cool.
You know, it almost looks like you could make a jar or a urn out of that one, the way it's going right now.
Did he say what type of wood it is?
Yes, it's
Chinese elm.
Chinese elm. That's it.
Sorry, Robo. I know you're.
No, that's all right. That's all right. I just got a mental block for a minute.
You had a brain fart.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
This is bureaucracy at work, right? We got a letter from our local council, which is I don't know. Anyway, it's local government, right?
Mark's heading off to
Mark's
bed.
going to bed.
Good night, Mark.
Good night, Mark.
Oh,
Say hello to Mark.
See you tomorrow.
Yep, catch you live tomorrow.
Yeah, I figured everybody wanted to say that, so.
yeah. Dear resident, draft domestic wastewater management plan stakeholder consultation. I'm writing to you as council's records indicate that your property has an on-site wastewater, in brackets, septic system. Environment protection legislation requires all municipalities that contain on-site wastewater systems to develop and implement a domestic wastewater management plan. The purpose of the DWMP is to identify the risks to public and environmental health associated with the operation of on-site wastewater systems and set out strategies to minimise these risks. We are seeking feedback on the DWMP from owners operators of on-site wastewater systems. A copy of the draft domestic on-site wastewater management plan can be viewed via the web link, blah, blah, blah. If you would like to provide feedback, you will be able to do so via the same link, as well as access a list of frequently asked questions. Yours sincerely, Public Health, City of Casey. 7 years ago, they put in a sewerage system here, so we haven't been on septic tanks for 7 years. The council doesn't even know what the left hand's doing, I don't think. So,
That's
Yeah,
government for you.
Typical council. As long as they're getting paid, they don't care.
Well, either that or not everybody got moved to it and they forgot who. So you send it out to everyone.
yeah, no, our council is very strange. Anyway, right, John N's got a question about dust collection. Why, when it's hooked up, the suction is okay, but once I pull off the connection from the saw, there's a vast improvement in suction. Any ideas how to fix? And Lewis is in as well. Sorry. Yeah.
How you
You.
going, Seth?
Seth. Sorry. I'd get there in the end.
Yeah.
What restriction, how much restriction have you got when you put it on the joint or into the saw?
Amy says, laughing her butt off. That's Casey for you. We're in Cordina.
Yeah, well, Cardinia is the next
Sardinia.
shire across.
Mm.
No, they're both as good as one another, I'm afraid. Right. Well, The hardest thing to fit a dust extractor to is a saw or a band saw because the dust goes everywhere. Generally with a saw, you've got to close in the whole cabinet underneath it and then take an extraction point from just underneath the saw blade itself. So you need a 4-inch hole or whatever going through to a chute that comes in just under the saw blade if you want to catch as much as you can. Same with a bandsaw.
I'll be back.
No worries. Don't you be long.
I gotta discard about 5 layers of clothes. 5 layers too many. And I'm not being dirty either.
Hello, Marley's changed his name. Marley's shed. If I discard any more clothing, I'll be naked, and that's not a pretty sight.
Marley, my dog was like rolling all over the floor and trying to itch his ears and all that kind of stuff, and so I was leaning down and giving him a little bit of help.
Giving him a scratch.
Yeah.
Well, John N., I've got a solution to what your problem is with your system. I've worked on a few. What it seems from what you say is that you increase it when you turn off or stop the saw connection. One of the big problems you have is a fixed set of suction from your system. And often if you have a closed box where it's closer to the source of your suction device, whatever it is, it's like sucking out a closed tube. And it tends to slow down. If you've turned the suction on and you're trying to suck through it and you can't get enough airflow through the system to match what is being created by your shop system. So of course, when you disconnect it, you're going to see a higher flow of air because you're restricting a lot of it when you hook it to your saw. But it does pick everything up from the saw at the time. That's why you use multiple gates, so you can gate the saw off and open up to whatever other device you're going to be using. And if you're moving a hose from one fitting to the next, as a lot of beginners do, make sure that you have the same size hose fitting for both, or an adapter that takes you down to whatever size you need. You can't take a 6-inch or 8-inch hose from a big dust collection system and stick it as the sole source to a bandsaw or something, because the ports that you have, you're going to be sucking sawdust who do not have enough opening in order to suck everything in to meet the requirements of what you're sucking. And often I've had it happen before I figured it all out, is that I would have devices whistling, my bandsaw, and I had a whistle in my shop and I couldn't figure out what it was. It was the little slit in the table sucking air in, because I had shut down, I had closed off the one at the lathe, the one at the table saw, and I had forgot that I had only the bandsaw one open. And that can be a problem. You're so many cubic feet per minute that motor is sucking through that hose. So you've got to be able to move it around or control what you have open at any given time. I hope that helps your problem. You know, it bugged me for a long time having a whistle in my shop and didn't know what it was. And it was one of my friends was working on the wood side while I was doing some turning.
I'm with you, Chris. I need to do that with my shop vac too. I need to get one of those vortex systems and really get real because my shop is just a dusty mess.
Yeah, the sad part is I got double stage and I still haven't hooked it up yet. It's got one of those trash can collectors beside it, but the top is all busted up. Guess I'm gonna have to just make me one.
Yeah, that's what I've got from my shop vac. I have the big Craftsman one from years and years ago, and the biggest they had. And I have a big 5-gallon plastic bucket with the vortex system in there, and that's something I check at least once a week. I pop it open the lid to see, uh, but I still end up getting dust all the way through, fine dust into the shop vac itself in its filter. So I splurged years ago and I bought a washable uh, filter for my Craftsman, the big one. It cost me about $50, but I kind of cheat. Whenever I'm doing it, and if I'm doing it big, heavy, dirty pots and pans in the dishwasher, I'll take and shake the filter out because it's waterproof and put it in the dishwasher with everything else. It's just pots and pans. Doesn't hurt it. You can flush it out with hot water and whatever, and it does work and clean the shop filter out. But it's not
Yeah.
recommended by Sears or anyone else to put the filter in. But this is a
Uh,
water.
John N. Yes, dust extractors on big systems need a certain amount of air going through them. So sometimes, like some of the clubs I demonstrated, got 12 outlets on them, sucking into big cyclones, and they've always got to have at least 2 open to let air get through because otherwise the motors overheat. And as Bob said, you're sucking a huge amount of air through a little narrow opening. So yes, it's going to restrict the flow considerably.
One shop I worked at, tech shop, they were really equipped. They had a big double stack filter with a 5-horse motor that was running, collecting from 11 ports in the wood shop. And I had 2 at the lathe. But what would bug me and people in there is that people would turn it on and they'd be running, say, the CNC machine, and it was hooked up, and someone's at a table saw and whatever. And we had the automatic shutters that would open and close the moment you turn a motor on. It would open and whatever. But the problem was, if you were running something small like the bandsaw and you were sucking the stuff through the bandsaw, sometimes people would forget to manually close the duct on the bandsaw because they're not used to it, because they're used to being home. And if that happened and other people are working and they're opening and you turn the system on, you get a high pitched whistle and nobody knew where it was coming from. And they they had the landlord in looking for this sound of this high pitched whistle. And I come into work and everyone's wondering, where is it? What's happening? And I go and shut the port on the bandsaw. But they had never thought of that. So they automated the system so as everything opens and closes when you turn on the machine. And the worst part is the whistle was above some people's hearing. Mostly the people who've been doing car drag racing and that with loud noises had lost the high pitch end.
And Chris, I'd suggest you take the screen off the front of the thing. to stop it from clogging. Like that's the first thing I generally do to all my dust extractors is take the screen off the front of it and just let the shavings go through. Occasionally I've got to clean off the fan inside with shavings, but when we're turning, you can't pick up the shavings anyway because they go right out over my shoulder somewhere into the middle of the workshop. So very few get down there. Mainly, it's just for dust. That's all it is.
I have one. I have a second of the big vortex ones that goes on a 55-gallon drum, and I have that ahead of my Harbor Freight dust collector. But I had a motor go out on it, so I put a 2-horse 220 motor on it when I replaced it. So I get a little more. I get more RPM on it. But that way, all I have to do is, instead of fussing with all those canvas and plastic bags on it when I clean up the shop, because that's what's tied to my systems, is that I can just take the trash can, a typical, 55-gallon trash can or 40, whatever, the big ones we have. And I have it sits on a piece of wood and I've got 4 casters. So I just snap off the top and with all the hoses and everything attached to it and drag it out to the garden and the wood in there and use that for shavings. It's as mulch. And I have a mulch pile in the backyard. And every once in a while, I just turn it over with a shovel. Yeah, I've done that on a plastic trash can, and I've watched it suck the can together in the bottom. At least when I put the 2-horse on, it sure sucked it in. I had to end up with a metal trash can.
Yeah, well, yeah, you got to put a metal one on. Plastic garbage cans don't work very well with vortex systems, that's for sure, or cyclone systems.
Oh, that's not good, Chris.
Yeah, well, if you're trying to suck up shavings, you're just wasting your time anyway, really. You're better off to sweep the shavings up and then just vacuum the dust off the floor.
What I did for my big, with the Harbor Freight and the big 55-gallon drum with the cyclone top, they said it's on wheels and I can roll it out to empty it. But that was the best for me. And it caught all the stuff. And at times you knew you were picking up something because you heard it go bang in the can.
Many years ago, we were turning a series of little spheres, 2 inches in diameter they were, for a job. Every now and again, as I parted off, one would drop down the system and get sucked up by the dust extractor. And when you've got something running 25 feet through a dust extractor, geez, it sounds good. But it sure cleaned the dust out of sure cleaned the dust out of the inside of the extractors, that's for sure.
Oh, it cleans the pipes really well.
Yep, sounds good too.
That's why I like the cyclone top, because that falls to the bottom of a clean can, and then you can pick it up and do it again.
Yeah,
It doesn't go any farther. It just the can.
We don't run cyclones. We just run straight into the extractor bags.
No, I run the cyclone ahead of it to pick up the heavy stuff in pieces, shaving, stuff like that. So it's two-stage. Both my vacuum cleaner and that's a two-stage. I love the tinker, and that's spent a lot of time on that. The problem I have that I have think I've solved is that I don't have a good ground. The hoses that I have that are listed as being static free that go from the metal piping to my lathe. It's a flexible one and I can move it around. I've got two pickups I can open or close. But the problem I have is that they collect dust on the inside. It's clear plastic, metal ring, metal screw type wire in there, but I can't get rid of the dust in there.
You're opening a can.
And it's done.
You're opening a can of worms now, Bob, with static electricity. I have never, ever heard of or seen a fire caused by a dust extractor system. Now, I have in wheat mills or in wheat silos because of the volume that's going through them, but there is just not enough volume to go through to create the three necessary ingredients for a fire or an explosion in a dust extractor system. And a lot of universities and things have run tests, and they've never been able to get an explosion in dust extraction systems in a woodworking environment. So trying to earth out dust extractor systems is a waste of time in the average workshop. Yes, you'll get a static shock off one if you go past it occasionally. I'm pretty susceptible to it, but as far as generating,
you should. I do it because I want to keep it grounded. If I keep my lathe grounded to the dust collection system as a mechanical ground, so I run a wire directly from the frame of the lathe that I drilled and tapped and mounted a connector to, and that's a ground bus. And I take that wire and it is threaded only about 4 foot away to the base of the dust collector system. And then I continue over and it terminates at the metal drum to the cyclone. I have found that I have less dust collect on the lathe bed and the motor and any of the metal components. The dust just doesn't want to collect there. There's no static charge. That's what I'm thinking of, not the fire or spark. It's a static charge that causes dust to want to sit on it. Because invariably you have to blow it all off. You don't want the dust to stop if you're going to do finishing.
Yeah, I agree with, all right, it doesn't allow the dust to collect on as easy, but a lot of people think that they ground them to try and stop fires. And there's never been a fire in a woodworking shop caused by a dust extractor unless you suck up a spark because you've got blunt blades or something. Like our dust extractor used to catch fire when we were using big powerful routers like overhead routers, and the cutters were getting a bit blunt or we were feeding too fast, and then we get a spark off the timber because it actually scorched the timber. So, but that's about the only time that you can get one.
I agree with you. It's just our health and safety and electrical codes for big shops insist on grounding for static electricity. Some say it's for static buildup because I've been in shops that are all nice and fancy and you could eat off the floor, but yet you walk in and you talk to someone who's working there and you touch the frame of the lathe they're working on or the table saw and you get a jolt like that of static between you and the floor. And I asked the people that work there, and they wear the same shoes, their safety shoes, but they're self-grounding to get rid of static. I don't think
it sounds like an episode of Mythbusters.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
so many books written on it, and problem is, there's a lot of companies making money selling stuff for it.
Oh, jeez, yeah. Well, there's a link to a lot of articles on it.
Thank you. I know I just have it because I am lazy and don't want to have to keep dusting off my lathe. And if I blow it off with an air hose, but I've got the overhead dust collector, the suction type fan and double filter, is that it takes about 20 minutes before the dust is gone in the air if I want a good finish on a product. That's my concern.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Like, the dust does linger in the air. You've only got to be in there at the night time and shine the torch through the workshop to see how much dust is in there. But we've got big.
I'll follow that through.
We've got a big extractor fan as well at the end of the workshop, and that's the best dust extraction of the lot.
But ideally, you have a separate facility with clean air, indoor, whatever, for finishing. But I don't. I just have a garage shop.
Well, I'm the same. I do most of my finishing outside.
Oh, come summer, I will. I'll put a couple of sawhorses up in a piece of plywood, and I'll do it in the backyard.
See, aren't you glad you asked the question now, John, about dust extraction?
Now, if the side of my garage wasn't right in my front yard, I'd probably just blow the hose out and maybe build a bin to where it'd catch outside. But I'd rather not, because then I have to sit there and deal with it in the yard and daughter running through it and all sorts of stuff.
You scroll sawyers don't know what dust is.
It's for one of the viewers of this site, of Jay's site, because I was shocked, like I haven't been in a long time. I had mentioned evidently some time ago about my dust collector that I have overhead of the lathe, and it has the weird size furnace filters in it and all. I got two of them, and it said the card in it was happy early birthday, Dr. Bob, and that's the only. I have no idea who sent them.
No, I was just having a shot at you, John. It's all right.
So whoever did it, I sure appreciate them, because I get tired of vacuuming them out to get the light dust out of them. After about 4 vacuums, you have to throw them away. I also got a new trend air filter for my my dust mask, my shield. But that was something I was able to request through the Veterans Association.
Unfortunately, proper dust extraction in a workshop is a science all its own, and you've got to have the equipment to be able to set them up properly. You've got to have vacuum gauges and things that you can read how much suction you're getting on them, and then there's volumetric efficiency comes into it.
Yeah. I watched a pro come in and do the tech shop and their flow meters, and they said we had to have a bigger one. And we got one, and it had the vortex top to it, uh, and it was clear plastic, so we could see the dust swirling in it as it was falling into the drums on the bottom. And the gates opened and closed automatically when you turned the device on and off, and it would wait, like, depending upon how you adjusted each gate sensor, uh, it would wait 3 to 5 seconds or 10 seconds after the device shut off before it would turn the whole dust collector off, enough time to clear the hose.
Yep. Well, that's the whole point. Like, there's a lot of dust. If you shut down the extractor straight away without letting the operation stop first, if it's creating the dust, you get a lot of dust just lying there.
Yeah, and the big problem, people say, oh, don't worry, turn it on, it'll suck it again. But don't forget, that's fresh wood that you have made dust into dust. Fresh wood is, a lot of the time, it's still damp or wet when you're cutting it. It hasn't, it's been kiln dried, but it's still not totally zero moisture. So you're moving moisture with it. And if you don't make sure you clear that line, then you end up having it stuck almost like an adhesive inside the ductwork.
Yeah.
And I've seen that happen. We have to take it apart and scrub it out with big sticks and poles to get it from, because it's caked on the duct pipes or the hoses. You got to every once in a while hit with big sticks, broom handles, to break the dust free. So, and when you do it, you can see it actually break free and go back in through the collection system. So you got to clear the system every time you turn it off. Make sure
Chris, you'd probably find that the fan would work best with just one filter on the front rather than two. Like having one at the front and the back, it sort of defeats the purpose of it a bit.
One thing about furnace filters, and I don't know if people know it, there's an arrow on most of them, at least they're supposed to be here in the States, telling you the direction of the airflow. And if you put them in backwards, they just don't work as well at all. So you got to follow the airflow arrows. Yeah, I've got air wind also myself, and I love it. That's the one I have that sits directly over my lathe. In fact, if I put the visor up, I hit the edge of it just barely. It's that close to the lathe. So when I'm sanding, that's picking every bit of sanding up. And it's actually aimed at the wood itself, at the headstock. And it sits over where the tailstock is on the lathe. Bailey, do you have a shop vac?
Wow, that's turning out great, Jay.
It really has.
I like that dark ring around the top. That's pretty cool.
What'd you say to start off with there, Todd?
No, I said it's turning out great, and then I said the dark ring up there at the top looks
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah, something different,
Yeah,
but not at the same time. I'm sure that's what's uttering in the back of Robbo's mind at this moment.
it's the same but different. Yeah, John, how's that coming? John Naves, how's that bandsaw mill coming? As I'm gonna mess up his name. I always do. Matthias Wandel helping you on that still?
Well, you can beat the filters outside, but uh, I found a sneakier way of doing it. I think is even better yet. I use my shop vac and take the filter itself, and you have to hold it with your hand to keep from sucking the filter out of the frame. But use a crevice tool or something like that, and just suck the dirt right out of the filter itself with the vacuum cleaner. You'll be surprised just how white the filter will look. Don't suck it through the filter, suck it from the intake side to clean the filters. I've been able to do that in a filter that should be changed every week. I vacuum, and to me, I date them. Uh, and about once a month now, I change the filter set. But banging them doesn't do any good because it knocks the dust deeper into the filter. You can always cheat the other way and use an air hose and blow it from the backside out. But sometimes, depending upon your pressure, that can deform the filter cloth. So you got to be careful, but that'll work too.
Well, some places you can get that cut to fit filter. I don't know if that would actually be better in shop situation or not. I know for our furnace before we got the heat pump, we had to do that quite a bit because we had an odd size filter for the door.
Yes, I've used it. The green, I know it comes in green.
Right?
Uh, yeah, because on the overhead filters, like the Wen and all that, all same company makes them all,
Mm-hmm.
or almost all, is the fact that there's another filter bag behind it.
Mm-hmm.
That's your first contact one to take the fine particles out. And yes, that'll work. And you want the furnace one, not shipping container liner. There's a bunch of them, but get them as a furnace filter because they're designed to fit and come in contact with the furnace frame, and that is designed to actually ground the filter itself, take any static electricity away from that plastic weave that it has, so as the filter collects more. And those, you can just hit them with a garden hose backwards and wash them out easy. I even have a neighbor that his wife doesn't know it, but he's been known to put them in the washing machine from the furnace.
Right.
But he claims afterwards he does throw rugs and then his dirty work shirts in that order. That way he knows the machine is clean when she gets ready to put clothes in it. But they work well too.
Just going to make myself a cup of tea.
Okay. I thought Jay was boogering up something.
We'll give you 5 minutes. Ready, go.
Yeah, John News says getting a 3D effect of shavings flying at us. Yep, that does look pretty wicked.
I think I definitely need to get me a turning smock. I am so tired of getting wood chips and all that down my shirt. I just itch.
Better
They
than
come in handy for a lot of things.
better than hot rounds.
Yeah, true. I've
Yeah.
had it go down my shirt too.
You need to collar it like a priest, Blair.
Yeah,
Well,
Amy,
one of the nice things-
I'll
one
get
nice
excited
thing
if I get enough to go out there and get my tractor involved in cleaning up the driveway and the road. Then I'll definitely be excited for having a snow day instead of going to work.
What do you think, Jay? You think that will work right there?
Oh no! Who killed Kenny?
Oh,
That says I have a lightweight one from Craft Supplies, Blair. I like it.
I've got
You'll have to
two.
find me one online.
We're going to have to get one of our DAW ones down to you there, Jay. Because another nice thing about them is the fact they have pockets behind you on your back where shavings don't get to. And you just learn to reach around and pull what you want out of the pocket from behind. That's the handiest thing for the smocks.
Were you going to say something, Jay?
What?
Were you going to say something?
Oh, I'm not allowed to take my mic off mute. It's not fair. Nah, I'm gonna stop turning for today, but I'm gonna give it this a little bit of epoxy. Let it sit overnight. It's got an extra crack in it now, and it's joined up with the others. So.
Uh-oh.
You're going to continue it tomorrow night like a soap opera as the
Yeah.
wood turn.
Yep.
As the toxic toad turns.
And so are the days of our lives.
Amy says that's a clever idea, Doc. Oh, booger.
That's the problem with being old. You've been there and done that a few times and figured out ways you shouldn't have done it.
Yeah.
And good tricks that you just take for granted and do. A trick I have found, and it's really I have got a bunch of other people that turn in cold areas, is that I'll wear in my shop a sweatshirt, good heavy sweatshirt designed for skiing and that, and then my smock. I'll put it on and zip it up. But the nice thing is being able to take the whole thing off over your head as one piece, because the smock usually has short sleeves and the other shirt's long sleeves. It's kind of being lazy though. But it does keep you warm, and it keeps everything that you keep in your smock pockets there. You know, you
So,
get
Robbo,
used to what goes in each pocket.
Oh, yeah.
when you left, I decided to stop turning for today and put some epoxy into these because it's got another crack in it.
Yep.
And it's sounding a little bit hollow, so I think it might just be best to just try and.
Well, I was about to say that you're starting to get down to the real danger zone there where it could part company.
Yeah, well, I could hear it. It was the noise was changing.
Yep.
So I just figured it was just best to quit while I'm ahead.
Very good idea.
While my head looks like this.
Oh, pretty well. We don't want to make it look any uglier, that's for sure.
I think that's a bit hard. I hit all the branches on the way down as it is.
Yeah.
But you're not quitting, you're doing the next step in wood turning. You've discovered a fault and you're fixing it, but it won't be ready to turn for a while.
John said, "Be right back, everyone." But John, we may not be here.
No, we'll be here. We'll wait just for you and then leave, all right?
Yeah, it's like last night. I stepped away and everybody left, and here I am by myself.
Sorry, Blair.
Well, we did that. We did that deliberately, Blair.
I figured.
And you didn't
It's
get the bloody
all over YouTube.
And you didn't get the bloody hint. You came back again today.
I was watching the videos, the instructional videos on StreamYard, and what did they call that? They called it the kick or the ban. You could either kick a guest out or you can ban them.
Yep, that's right. Yeah.
So I mean, if you were to step away, Blair, too long, and Jay needed a space or something like that, there's a way he can kick you out from his computer.
Right.
I mean, that's just in general. That has nothing to do with you.
I could have, but I didn't want to. I wanted to leave him hanging. That's more fun.
Well, what's worse is how many views after it was posted did people do to watch him sleep?
So I did a new intro to my YouTube page, and just showed some of the different stuff that I've done, and then I stole that video from last night, and I put that sleeping part on there, and I've had a lot of people comment about it. It's funny.
What I want to know, Blair, is when you came back, did you go, "Geez, I don't smell that bad"?
No, I just kind of looked and went, "Really? Okay, bye."
Bye.
No, well, we did wait a few minutes, I think, but you didn't get back in time. So
Yeah, it's all good. No worries.
Nah, Robbo, he'll go back and watch it after. Don't lie about it.
Just like Robo, when he's not here, he goes back and watches you.
Yep.
See how bad we talk about him.
God forbid we said something about him. No?
Well,
how many times we write up the P's and C's.
That's the thing. Like I with the timestamp on it, I can work out. You see, rightio. I went and had a cup of tea at 2:46. So yeah, I'll get the time up to there and have a look and see what they said.
You'd be horrified.
They said P1, 2, 3, using C's.
Yeah.
Yeah. They were talking about your pen making, I think.
with carbide tools.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was hilarious. But then that could go viral. You have to be careful. Then you'd have a bunch of viewers just to watch you sleep. And to sleep with Blair.
Why not? They got fireplaces out there and stuff that you can go to sleep to with music.
Yeah. It's like Dark's music this morning on his premiere.
Oh,
Jeez, I thought I was back in a meditation lounge.
that's what what's his face Zombie kept saying. He
Yeah.
goes, man, come in here like he was to kill the world music, and then all of a sudden he's in for meditation.
Yeah. And all I was waiting for was the trickling water and the birds to sing in the background, you know.
Yeah.
Well, there's
Oh,
an
when-
app for that too.
A few years ago, where do I have to go? I had to go somewhere and they were playing. She said, "Oh, what sort of music do you like?" And I said, "Oh, generally classic or something like that." She said, "Well, I normally play meditation type music." I said, "Yeah, well, if you really want me to kick up a stink," I said, "just play it." So she put on the 1812 Overture instead.
Oh, I seen Walmart's got record players back in stock,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
Victrolas.
Well, music buffs still prefer vinyls because they get a clearer sound out of it.
Plus, you get that distinct scratching sound, or not the scratching, but the
Waka waka waka.
that. But there's that little.
No, not on a good record player.
I know, but I'm trying to think of how to describe it.
Well,
You
the
get a much-
vinyl isn't
I have-
centered right, and you're hearing the needle hit the side of the groove. That's what
Mhm.
you're hearing as it rotates.
But it's much better tonal quality or something apparently. Like what annoys me is that, particularly with opera, is that all recordings these days are high volume limited. So if somebody's hitting a high C, which is one of the highest notes you can do in singing, it chops it off and it just doesn't sound right. And Amy, a bit of whale song, Jesus. I could think of nothing more boring. Sorry.
That's all right. I found 8 hours of C-130 humming on YouTube, just the audio.
It
I'll
makes
tell you
you
what.
homesick.
I'll tell you what, yeah, believe it or not, that stuff will put you to sleep if you catch it right.
Okay, who's getting muted?
You don't like a little soothing water and flute?
No.
Yeah, Chris, it's a worry. It is a worry sometimes. But Chris has put in, I watched Darks without sound. I was too nervous for what he would say.
Yeah, I couldn't stand the music either. I muted it. All right, so I put, you can't see it, I put red dust shavings over the top of the resin.
Oh, yeah.
Get an extra $50 for it now, you know.
It's an art piece now.
No, you're talking about 9 hours of that thing there, when reel to reel tape recorders were the thing. One of my uncles was he was a hi-fi buff, like his house was actually wired up for sound all the way through it. You could adjust the sound all the way through the house. But anyway, he had a recording studio in there as well. There used to be a song called The Loved One, by The Loved Ones it was called, and it had a fantastic beat right at the start of it. And we taped 7 hours of that once, just end to end, and thumped that through his house just to annoy shit out of the neighbours. Have to see if I can find it now.
Nah, I'll take your moderation rights before you find it. Oh, look at that. You can't see my face. What a shame.
Amy says my daughters put relaxing music on at night when they're going to bed to sleep if they're having a hard day switching their brains off.
Yeah, techno isn't relaxing music though, Amy.
That's beat your head against the wall music.
Yeah. No, that's beat someone else's head against the wall. Whoever's playing it.
Yeah.
Oh, come on, Chris, don't lie. I thought you said to Blair this morning you watch my lives and go to sleep. No?
That's right. He did say that.
I was there.
I
back
got you, Chris.
now.
Rightio, here you go.
No, you can't. What are we listening to, Robbo? He can't hear us at the moment. No, he can't hear us. Quick,
Yeah, we
talk
can't
about
hear
him. Quick, talk about him. Robbo, the pen maker extraordinaire.
We couldn't hear that, Robbo.
I couldn't even hear it. They could just hear
wait on. I know what I'll do.
Put the link in.
Yeah. I must admit, when it came out in 1965, it's an Australian band, so they sort of set music on its head.
Oh, what a shame I can't click on it. Someone swinging a cat around in the background or something.
But Amy's too young to remember, But Saturday night at Mechanics Hall, that used to be the place to go.
Okay, I've heard this before.
Yeah, I think a couple of American groups picked it up. What? 2 o'clock? 3 o'clock?
What was that?
I thought I heard a cuckoo clock in the background.
Yeah, you did. Wasn't me though. I don't need a cuckoo clock. I already am.
Yeah, I did too, Amy. I listened to just about everything other than opera. Sorry, Robbo. Can't stand rap. I do like 80s country. Sorry, Robbo.
Yeah, there's a country station I listen to that plays mostly traditional country, but believe it or not, there are some country artists out today that are still trying to go down the traditional country path. And some of the songs that they sing today, the way that their lyrics are to their music and everything, it's still not twangy, you know, and it's got that traditional sound to it, and it's cool. Versus, you know, a lot of the newer country isn't all that great.
Yeah. I actually quite like bluegrass, believe it or not.
I love bluegrass.
Yeah.
With the steel guitars. I reckon that's fantastic.
Yeah. I like Zydeco. I like bluegrass. I like jazz, blues, country. Like I said, the older country or the twingy, newer stuff.
I think my favorite bluegrass, her name is Alison Krauss.
Yeah.
Just love her voice.
Yeah. Mine's Bill Monroe.
So like when you had the category country western, I like the western music, but that was in the 50s when they were one category.
Marty Robbins and Sons and Pioneers.
I love Marty Robbins. I got quite a few of his songs there, and cowboy songs by Roy Rogers and Gene Autry, and tumbling along with the old tumbleweed, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, I grew up on that.
Town of El Paso.
Yep.
Yep. But you don't hear it anymore, except in particular venues or plays, or when people want to do a period party.
Oh, that'd be interesting, Chris. Yeah, I like big bands too. Yeah, I'm with you, Amy. I don't like the. Oh, sorry. I don't like the thing where tractor's broken down or my ute's broken or the wife's nicked off with the neighbour and the dog's died and the sheep are dying in the field, you know. I'm afraid that doesn't do much for me. God, that's too much like real life.
Yeah, Conway Twitty, he's good.
Yeah, Conway Twitty's good. Quite a lot of the older artists were.
Then you had before that Benny Goodman.
Yeah.
You know,
Marley wants to know what's with Jay. He's waiting for resin for epoxy to dry, and that's what he's waiting for. And he's sitting down and relaxing.
We're just hanging out. That's
he's
all.
Watching paint dry.
And ready to spring and ban anybody or block them or whatever. Had the mouse in his hand there. No, I can't read that, Jay. Sorry.
Yeah, but our choices are so much different than what Marley would have for the same answer, for the same question. Wouldn't begin to know the background of music that we've seen go through it, at least for me, for 70 years worth.
Yeah, well, I'm the same. Like, I liked it when bloody stupid Justin Bieber was being interviewed on Bandstand or one of those programs, and the interviewer said, "Oh, did the Beatles have any influence on the sort of music?" Like, the Beatles? Who are the Beatles?
Oh,
He didn't even have a clue.
Jay's over there doing math.
Is this something we don't know about, Jay?
The other problem, I kind of grew up with classic music. My mother was a concert pianist and also could play harp. She played second chair for the Detroit Philharmonic out of high school during a summer program, and she trained in it. And of course, then her friends used to, get together and play.
Yeah,
But it was
one of
30s music and 40s music.
one of the things I wished I'd had a tape recorder at was we were setting up the lights and the stage and everything for the Moody Blues when they visited Australia, and they were playing with the Victorian Symphony Orchestra, and it was too late. They finished their rehearsals too late in the afternoon. They had a Saturday afternoon matinee, and they finished the rehearsals at about 12:15, so it wasn't worth going out to get anything or do anything, so they ordered in pizzas and Kentucky Fried and stuff, and one of them picked up an instrument. The Moody Blues all of them could play multi-instruments, so very clever, but they started jamming, and the Victorian Symphony Orchestra got on. We had cello players playing guitars, and we had piano players playing bloody harpsichords, and it was absolutely fantastic. And it just astounds me with how musicians can know exactly when to come in when they're jamming, and not break the rhythm of something. It's just a really good. I'm hopeless on musical instruments. Yeah, Stairway to Heaven's a good one, Marley, that's for sure. Led Zeppelin.
That's one thing that just kills me is you see these jazz players and when they're jamming and just how they can pick up on something just so quick, and it blows my mind.
Yeah. Yeah, it was.
Years ago when, probably about 25 years ago, I used to get to New Orleans on business a couple times a year, and you get down on Bourbon Street and just sit there, even though the beer is $4. You buy it there, $1 a can if you buy it at the bar down the street. But you got to pay for the music. But it's just
good night.
Go on
Sorry, sorry, Bob. Good night, Seth.
Good night, Seth.
Good night, Seth.
Yep.
Good night, Seth.
But those musicians just kept going. They played for almost an hour and a half. People would join in and take a break and have something to eat, and the music never seemed to stop. Somebody would throw a name out of a song, and they would meld that song and transfer from what they're playing into the next piece without stopping.
Yeah, I was lucky. I went to a proper Aboriginal corroboree initiation of the boys coming up to men, and there was a bloke there that played the didgeridoo for 24 hours, and he did not stop.
Wow. Good morning, Mike.
G'day, Mike.
Howdy, Mike. That dude must have been full of hot air.
His lips, you would think they'd just get blisters from the.
Yeah.
You can tell he has no lung problems.
No.
Well, it's circular breathing is what I was told you needed to do it. And the same thing with bagpiper. They need to learn circular breathing so they can
keep back
here.
If you guys are here.
Yeah. Well, we might just disappear on you, Sarge. We've been known to do that.
And we can leave Blair sleeping if you want.
No, don't need circular breathing with the bagpipes because I've got the bladder to keep it going.
Yeah, that's what the drone's for.
No,
But with
I've
the
got
didgeridoo,
people
yes.
in my family that play the pipes, but I never have. The best thing I could play was a piano, and that was just barely.
Yeah, no, Dark Side of the Moon is the best album. I like that up nice and loud. We're talking about music tonight, Mike. What we like, what we don't like.
Jay's already done his turning and he's done for the night, so we're just talking about music.
No, he hasn't done for the night. He's just waiting for Epoxy to dry a bit.
Yeah, I said it was done for the day, Robbo.
Oh, right. Sorry. I'll shut.
It needs 24. It needs 24 hours to cure.
Yeah, I agree. But I'll shut up then. I'll get back in my box.
No, you can stay out of your box. Just
Behave yourself.
Yeah. For
Hello,
musical groups, I think Peter, Paul, and Mary, at least when I was in high school, that I followed them all the time in the Kingston Trio. But my favorite song they had was "I'm Being Eaten by a Boa Constrictor," and that was hilarious.
Now, who sang that?
Peter, Paul, and Mary.
I'll have to look that one up.
They always had some novelty song in each album.
But isn't it funny? Like, there has not been any protest songs since the Vietnam War. And there were groups that were formed on protest songs.
Yeah, that's right. That is
Jimmy, like I love it. I used to like Jimi Hendrix and Cream too. Like, man, could that bloke play a guitar?
Yeah. I saw him once in concert. He broke a guitar string, and I don't know if it was less than a beat. He turned around, grabbed another guitar he had behind him, and he kept going. You'd never know he stopped.
Yeah. There's been some good groups around, I must admit. Like, I like most of the Beatles stuff as well. And I'm ashamed to admit it, but I like ABBA.
I'm being swallowed.
really couldn't tell
Yep.
by the music that you play.
Sorry, what was...
Couldn't
What was that?
couldn't tell by the ABBA that you like to play.
No, well, that's right. No, that's my pick me up music when I'm feeling a bit down. I rock around the workshop doing Dancing Queen, and
Yep. That's a song made for vacuuming and sweeping.
So I just found this. I don't know if you guys can hear this or not. Hold on just a second.
Hopefully not.
I'm being swallowed by boa constrictor. By boa constrictor. By boa constrictor. Can you guys hear it?
yeah.
Swallowed by a boa constrictor, and I don't like it one bit. Well, what do you know? He swallowed my toes. Oh, gee. He's up to my knees. Oh, that's old Johnny Cash.
Yeah. Now, it's funny, Johnny Cash, I like some of his songs, and the others I just hate.
Yeah. Ring of Fire, you can't go wrong with that.
No, that's a good one.
Depends if you've got a ring of fire at the time.
And you can't ever go wrong with John Denver.
No, I like a lot of John Denver songs.
Yeah.
Priscilla the wood turner. Who's?
Hey, Mike. Hey, Mike.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Are you feeling it, Mike?
Blair, there's a movie called Priscilla, Queen of the Desert.
That's what he's referring to.
That's what he's referring to. That's why I cracked up laughing, because it's about guys that like to dress up in drag. Priscilla, Queen of the Desert.
And how would you know about that movie if you watched it?
I think every Australian just about seen that. It was kind of rubbed in your face at one point.
Yeah, and it's also a stage play too. Now.
I'll have to look it up on YouTube, Australian YouTube. It should be there.
It will be.
Well, I hope at least have a slight sense of humour and maybe don't watch it all.
Oh.
Depends how much drag you can put up with.
So forgive my ignorance, but Bob, how do you get to Australian YouTube?
If you have a VPN, change your address, your location to Australia, and then simply type in YouTube, and you'll get the Australian YouTube.
Gotcha.
Because they think you're in Australia.
No, Marley.
If you like it, it'll stay in your records on your YouTube, so it'll look for it. If it's something you want to save, the YouTube database will call it back, even if it is from, if you change your VPN back to your own home country, YouTube will still go find it because it's already found it in its search pattern and it's in your history.
No, Marley, I couldn't make a normal cloth voodoo doll, so I made a wooden one. And then I couldn't get the nails in because my hands aren't hard enough, so I drilled some holes in it so I could put some nails in there to inflict pain. That was done for dark.
You can do a collection. You can do one.
I could do it for every.
Put a kilt on it.
Yeah, I could do it for everybody. Yeah. So Midnight Mike has just joined the Voodoo collection.
He's still awake. You can't focus on him.
Bob's still awake too.
Yeah.
Darn it.
And Sarge is absent, so
He took his pose.
Well, let's pick on him. He'll do. Is that the chopper pilot? He doesn't work on planes, does he, that guy? No.
he used to.
Oh, come on. Trying to give him some shit here. No one's joining in. Bugger is there. I'll put Blair back on the screen. That'll make him talk.
You might enjoy the pain too much, Marley. That's the problem.
Oh yeah, Jay. Guess what?
Oh. That's it. I'm kicking you out.
Banned for life.
Oh no, there's one better that I can do.
Someone made my sister a 12-inch St. Peter.
She's talking about something else.
Yeah. That's the red tube channel you want. We're in the wrong live. Sorry.
Quick, everybody hide. So Jameson thinks he's all by himself.
That's easy to do, you know.
Why you gotta get your wet paws on? Oh. Look.
I'm glad I put you on full screen because I thought you were choking the chicken then.
No. Sent the dogs out to go potty. And one just laid around and ate the snow.
Yeah, I got that to do here and then dry his feet simply because if I don't, within an hour of me going to bed, he's going to be a bed hog next to me. For some reason, he has to lay his head on my ankle. And look out the door.
I have to ask, Effie, was it a true St. Peter statue or something else that you're referring to? Like, was it carved?
I did. You know that famous church? Is it in Notre Dame or something that burnt down partially?
Yeah, Notre Dame. Yep.
Yeah. Well, one of the statues that they had to take down from the very top of that, it actually had a time capsule right underneath of his feet. Was this massive sphere, and inside that was a time capsule, and they opened it up a couple of months ago. 130 years it was in there for.
Ah.
What they did is that they put a north, south, east, and west inside the sphere, and then they placed stuff facing in those directions, and then they poured, not thinking about it too much, I suppose, they poured concrete over it all. And the moisture and the dew and stuff, it completely ruined any book that was in there. And there was photos of famous people from the time in there, and they were completely blank pieces of paper. There was no photo on them at all, and pretty much everything that was in there was ruined.
Yeah, well, these days they put in metal hermetically sealed boxes.
Yeah, they had about the only thing that survived was a gold-plated copper plate they had in there, like a plaque. That was about the only thing that survived.
Yeah.
Still, no?
Yeah. Yeah, I actually wonder whether that'll actually be rebuilt.
Yeah.
I think they're actually doing it now.
Yeah, they are.
And something interesting for the gamers that are out there, when Assassin's Creed came out, they went into that church and they did all of these computer scans and all of that kind of stuff inside of there so that they can put it in the game. Well, when that burned down, they didn't have the plans. So they went back to the people that did the game of Assassin's Creed and said, hey, can you help us out? So they're using those plans that they did with the scan.
Wow.
Yeah, that 3D imaging it just blows my mind. The way that it can work out where everything is. But then again, you've got 3D printers now that can print things that actually move, even though they're assembled components, you know.
Hey, Robbo, they've got a 3D printer that they've taken into space, and that prints hearts, living organs. They're printing in space at the moment.
Yes.
Ah.
Yep.
Yeah.
They've been doing heart valves and stuff like that at University of Michigan for at least 4 years.
Yeah, like I can imagine it'd be absolutely fantastic because it would be absolutely accurate to the when I was machining and that, we used to work in thousandths of an inch, but those things work in nano measurements, you know.
Yep.
Yep. The blood vessels, everything in the structure is there. They just have to hook it up. And they do it out of a living tissue. That's what really amazes me. It's a real living tissue.
Yeah. Well, that's the biggest thing with all operations is body rejection.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for the day when they can, if you lose a finger, they can reclone your finger and just kind of go and put it back on.
I'm sure there's a way. I'm sure they're working on stuff like that.
Well, there's a bloke down the road from us that does prosthetic hands and things for people, and they're all nerve controlled. It's absolutely fantastic. Like it fits onto the stub of the wrist or the above the elbow there, and he can make so you just sort of think about it and flex your muscle a certain way, and the hand will grab things.
Yeah, because the brain is sending the same pulses out. They just have to be able to link those pulses to controllers.
Geez, I'll tell you what, if they could fix my hearing, I'd be the first one in there to try it, I reckon.
Well, you've got the cochlear ear transplant or implant for the deaf so they can hear again. That's been around for quite a while. It used to be a big compass and box. Now you don't even know it. They actually have been able to put the transplant in the skull, find room and put something over and the whole electronic package is in you.
Another fine Australian invention that was sold off overseas. Yes, he agrees.
Dude, that or she's calling BS on you, one of the two.
No, actually, Australian medical inventions are just phenomenal, and our government will not fund them at all. That's why I don't watch South Park.
Yep.
And I banned my kids from watching it too.
Yep.
Amy, I don't think I've seen that one.
Oh, I thought, put it that.
Yeah, that's better.
Yeah. Well, I got a dog whining at the back door, and if I don't, I'm going to have to clean a mess up off the floor. So I'll catch you tomorrow night, gang.
All right, then. See you later, Bob. Bye.
Yep.
Thanks for coming in, Dr. Bob. Take it easy.
Yep.
I think I'm going to do the same thing. Tammy will be home soon, so we will see you guys tomorrow.
Right. She's cracking the whip and she's not even home. Sorry, Blair.
No, I've got some dishes to do. So.
See, now there's the true story. Tammy rang up 10 minutes ago, leaving work, and said, "Have you done those bloody dishes yet?"
No, I figure she's working. I can at least do some housework stuff. So.
There you go, Blair. There's a message for you from Amy.
I will. Thanks.
All right. See you later, Blair.
All right.
Yeah,
Take
Blair.
it easy, Blair.
These women, they rule the roost, even when they're not there.
Yeah.
He knows what happens if he doesn't do it, you see.
Hey, Robo.
Yep.
Remember the other day when you said that you know what you've got to do because you got a list in your shop of this is what I've got to get done type thing? And then your customers call you up and they're like, you need to push this one up first because I want it now, blah, blah, blah. That's the same way when I go to my shop. I'm like, or I get home early from work. I'm like, I'm going to go back and I'm going to work on this and this and this. And I get home and honey, will you do this? Will you do that? I'm like, yes, dear.
Well, you know,
I understand there's a slight difference in the work versus home. But
you know, I've actually been thinking of putting an aircraft traffic controller board in the thing, you know, where they're on slides, where they know where the planes are and that,
right.
and they can change them around.
Yeah.
I reckon that's what my wife needs from me. She'd just take that one off the bottom and slip it up the top, you know.
Yeah. I actually did that when I was in Okinawa. I was a liaison between the Marine Aviation and the Air Force Base, and I had a map that I had put behind plexiglass, and there was a metal sheet behind that map. And my ex-wife had made all these little aircraft symbols, like refrigerator style magnets.
Yep.
So I could say, okay, I've got this slot. It's got F-18 in it. This one's got a C-130 in it, and blah blah blah, and switch them around wherever I needed them.
Yeah, no, the ones I was talking about are where they've got the two parallel things, and they've got a slot of wood with the flight number, the aircraft style, and how many passengers and that on it. Right. And they slip them into where they are and on the radar and their height and everything. It's rather interesting actually watching them work.
Yeah, I've been in the towers before. They're pretty cool.
Do you know that that's rated one of the highest stress jobs in the world? Flight traffic controller.
Yep. And it doesn't matter if it's marine or military or if it's civilian.
Oh yeah. Like, man, some of these airports are handling bloody, oh well, not at the moment, but they're handling up to 600 or 700 flights a bloody day.
Right.
More sometimes.
I lived out in Santa Monica, basically outside of Los Angeles, out in California, and I'd have to pass by two airports. Of course, one was LAX, and whenever you were going up the interstate, at night you could look off to the east, and you'd see stacks of headlights, basically, coming at the airport. And so when I was in Okinawa, and they would have quiet hours where if anybody wanted to fly in the base, they would be able to fly in, land, and park. They couldn't do touch and goes or anything like that. So I'd have to tell them, hey, we got to do LAX today. And at first, they're like, what are you talking about? I was like, yeah, they stack up and they land one at a time and park, land and park, land and park. And some of them actually laughed when I said that.
Yeah, no, it's I like looking at there's on the computers you can look up where all the, like when my wife flies overseas, I track her plane, aircraft trackers, and man, the amount of lines all over that map with planes flying everywhere, you wonder how the hell they miss each other, I tell you.
Right. Because unless you get it in 3D, all you're seeing is lines. You're not seeing the elevation. Yeah. You know, there might be two lines going side by side, but they're actually 5,000 feet apart from each other.
Yeah. No, it's pretty interesting, actually.
Oh, yeah.
I like that sort of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, pharmacy assisting and massage is far easier, Amy, that's for sure.
Oh, you're drinking American drink. You sharing it with your daddy? Or was somebody sharing it with you?
Oh, there's another one inside. Hubby.
Oh, nice. All right, John.
Yeah, good night, John.
See you later, John. Thanks for coming in.
Well, how's the time going?
Hey, that's illegal.
What?
Yawning? Nearly your tea time.
You're not allowed to yawn. Sorry.
That's bloody 10:30 at night.
No, that's my one golden rule when I'm driving in the car. That no passengers are allowed to yawn.
It doesn't.
See you tomorrow, John.
A friend of mine once wanted to come to Sydney with me, so I was feeling a bit weary, I must admit. And I said, right, yeah, I'll take you. The condition is that you've got to stay awake and talk to me the whole way, you know. Like now Sydney's 12 hours away from our place.
Hmm.
So we set off about 9 o'clock that night.
Howdy, Shay. Sorry, Rob.
G'day, Shay.
How you going, Shay?
Anyway, geez, the bugger fell asleep within 40 miles. We hadn't even cleared Melbourne, you know, and he'd fallen asleep in the passenger seat. And I thought, I'll fix you, you mongrel. So there's a truck stop, big truck stop at a service station at a place called Seymour, which is about 60 miles out of Melbourne, I suppose. And there'd just been a truck pulled in. All its lights and everything was still on. So I just gently rolled up to the front of it. And I went, F, God, like this. He wakes up, all he could see was the truck pull bar and the headlights, and he shit himself. He never ever went to sleep the whole trip up to Sydney after that.
Remind me to never ask for a ride from Robbo. Bloody hell.
You better take your Depends there.
Yeah, I'll take the bus.
I know. And geez, I'll tell you what, he nearly wrenched the seatbelt out of the car. I tell you, I couldn't stop laughing for 20 minutes.
Is that the last time he travelled with you?
Oh no. But he never went to sleep with me again either.
Oh.
But basically the same thing happened with a demonstration. The president of the club came up to me. It was an all-day demonstration. And he said, listen, we've got two blokes that'll fall asleep straight after lunch. He said, they always do. He said, and the buggers sit in the front row, you know. So I said, all right, this is what I'm going to do. So anyway, sure enough, about 20 minutes after lunch, they go nodding off in the front seat. So I got everybody to pack up things all quietly, packed it up, and there was a clock just behind my head. We set that forward to 6 o'clock at night. We all just left the hall, you know, at their club rooms. Anyway, the president goes in and says, hey, Sis, come on, it's time to wake up, mate. It's all finished. Oh, looked up at the clock. Jesus, 6 o'clock, I'm supposed to be home, you know. They didn't go to sleep the rest of the afternoon either. They packed everything up and came. Yeah, see you later, Amy.
See you, Amy.
Oh no, I can be a mongrel at times.
And if we ever slept in our military classes, man, we get pens and markers and erasers and all sorts of junk tossed at us. Man, and some of them instructors, and they'd hit you right smack in the middle of the head too. Yeah,
I used to be a pretty good shot actually. With my pen.
Pen's mightier than the chisel.
That's right.
Look at Marley. What has this turned into? It's a free-for-all.
This is the things we used to get up to when we were kids, Marley, you see.
Maybe not speaking to our international friends for free, but
yeah, I know. You know what's funny is I grew up, and like I said on one of the previous, that I used to hang out with my neighbor who was now, well, I guess he'd be probably your age, Robo, at the time. And I'd hang out with him more than I'd hang out with the kids my own age.
Yeah.
And I've always been interested in sitting around with a bunch of older guys, like at the coffee shop or McDonald's or something like that, listening to their morning jabber. Because man, they come up with some cool stories and some off the wall stories.
Oh yeah, well we didn't have TV or computers to to distract us. We had to make our own fun.
Right.
Yeah, I never found out that my father was a bit of a tearaway when he was younger until his funeral, actually, and then some of the stories came out about him from his friends that were still alive. You know.
Shay's interested in what you made today.
She'll regret she said that. No.
You've made him get up, Shay.
Yeah, bloody hell. It's relaxation time.
This is the meeting of the minds.
I had a really big crack in it when I started, and I was keeping an eye on it slowly but surely, and it changes sounds after a while. So when it gets to that point, I stopped and put a little bit of resin down into here. So I've got to leave it for 24 hours and let it cure.
So it's to be continued, like the old serials at picture theatres.
Yeah, I've got enough lumps on my head from the blackwood. I don't need any from chunks flying off.
No.
Yeah, it's good you can't see it from here. It's great. That's even better. Woohoo! Yes.
All right. I better go and do some more work, I suppose.
All right.
Still cleaning up the workshop, putting stuff away.
That's a
No.
daily thing.
Okay. Good night, folks.
Thanks for coming in.
Robo.
No worries, Joe. See you, everybody.
Bye.
See ya.
What
So,
are you
Shay,
saying
did you
sorry
get
for? Oh, was that
what?
sorry?
I was gonna ask Shay how many portraits she got done today. 'Cause she had to ship out a bunch. I think it was yesterday after our class.
Oh yeah, she's got two scroll saws now, hasn't she? She does one in each hand. Wax on, wax off.
Yep. I'm guessing Effie's gonna take off. She says, "Bye, guys."
All right, see you later. Thanks for coming, Effie.
Yep. Shay says it's pretty wood.
Yeah, it's Chinese elm.
Yeah. Yeah, Robo had a brain fart earlier when somebody asked. I was like, it was Chinese elm. He goes, oh, yeah. It happens.
Yeah.
It's funny, I'm on these lives all the time in the background, but when I put on front screen, it seems like, I mean, I could sit there in the background and do whatever I'm doing in my shop, no worries. But as soon as I know that the camera's all focused on me, oh, that's when my nerves get the best of me. Like when I was doing that chicken choker, as Dart called it.
Yes.
Oh man, the nerves caught me something fierce.
That was good to see. You know why?
Why?
Because now I know I'm not the only person that's that's a bit hungover.
Oh man, yeah, I know. Actually, it was good too. Also, to get me a feel of what it would be like if I was center stage.
Yep.
You know, instead of just goofing off in the background.
You have to get used to it one day.
Yeah. My biggest thing right now is You know, I may tinker with it with what I've got for equipment as far as the camera and the headset and everything. But definitely I'll be looking at getting a better camera for my shop. Maybe even a few of them. I don't know.
Yeah, a lot of people seem to have luck with those GoPros, but I tried to use one of those and I didn't have much luck. So I bought it's called a Microsoft 3000 Life, I think it's called. It's HD.
Mm.
That's the camera that I use most of the time.
Shay said none. I had a headache, so they're going to have to scroll after work this week. She said she has 5 more portraits to do as of right now.
Better
Yeah,
stop
Shay, and I
taking orders.
right. And I see she did a live earlier with her kids with the Valentines, or at least a video, and that was cool.
Well, I'm gonna run away.
Okay.
Thank you very much for coming in.
Yep. Anytime. Pretty much. See what I get to do tomorrow. We ain't got but maybe a half an inch of snow.
Yeah.
Ain't even enough to start the tractor up for. But
Yeah. All right, Midnight Mike, Marley, and Shay, thank you for coming in, and any of the tree people in the background that aren't talking.
right.
See you later.
All right. See ya.